Welcome back to another episode of Life with Your Dog podcast. My name's Panos, and thanks for joining us once again. Oh, we're still in these really weird, strange times, with the COVID-19 epidemic coming across the world, and there's more of us facing more time at home, working from home, isolation. And 2 episodes ago, we talked about what to do, when you're in some sort of isolation, quarantine, or lockdown scenario. But and it's been a big test with a lot of my clients this week. I have had a lot of reschedules, but I have been seeing a lot of clients and keeping them outdoors and keeping that social distancing, etc. There's a few things that I guess have come up now, and I've always believed this about our dogs, and today I want to talk more about it. And, it's all about what dogs have taught me and, more about how are they therapy in our lives. Like, why do we have dogs? What do dogs mean to us? And I guess now are the times to reflect on many things in our own life, but one of them, since dogs are very important to us, is like, well, what's going on? What's the point of having a dog? And some of them, there's many topics in this discussion that I would like to talk about, but today we're just going to touch on a couple. So today's not a Q&A, even though every second episode normally is a Q&A. Today I wanted to make it more of a special for people out there to consider these ideas or add to them. Let's have a bit of a conversation, whether we do that through social media, Instagram or Facebook. But there's a saying that I came up with a while ago, and it's one of the mantras that in regards to dogs, and it goes, "We teach dogs to live in our society, and dogs teach us to live in the now." And that has so much power to me and so important, because part of my job is to teach people to train their dogs so then they can live according to our values and the way that we want them to live. Sometimes it goes against their own instincts. It goes against their own genetic expression. If a dog is a herding dog and very high energy, and we expect them to do certain things other than that, we don't want them to chase other dogs or other animals, So like, we need to teach them to live in our society in many ways that a lot of instinctive behaviors are inherently annoying to us. We find them a problem, so we need to change that. But on the flip side, there's a reason why we go through all of that teaching of the dog to live in our society, and the reason is because dogs are teaching us to live in the moment. They're in the now. They're not thinking about tomorrow. They're not dwelling on yesterday. They're just, whatever's happening in the moment is what's happening. And if we can learn something from our dogs, and looking at it from this concept is, let's just say we'll talk about now. I don't want to date the episode too much, and it's only being relevant now in these times where we're facing this global kind of stress together. But this is for all the time, is that when you're with your dog, you as a general symptom, you are present, unless you're trying to make them do something for the future, like a training program, etc. But just in general, when you're with your dog, you're in the now. They're thinking about what's going on right here in our face, and we deal with that. And I think that's what attracts us to dogs so much, that we can be with them and they're in the moment and they're just completely happy with that. Some dogs are not happy with being in the moment, and obviously we need to work on those dogs. But as a general whole, if your dog's being fulfilled and has a connection with you, you feel really good. And I think that's one of the reasons why. So being present is really important. In general life, you want to be in the moment. If you're thinking too much about yesterday, it creates that depression side of us to feel like, oh, but yesterday I said I was going to do this, or yesterday this thing happened to me, and that's why I'm doing what I'm doing today. So it keeps us in a low vibration, and then panicking about tomorrow brings on anxiety. It comes from the same energy. It's a lack of fulfillment of some level. But what happens is that anxiousness makes us jittery and more upper energy. So being present, you just ground you right here and now, and practicing some sort of mindfulness when we're with our dogs can be really good. So, for example, the last few days I've had a little bit more freer time. So on my walks, I'm switching it up a little bit. Now, we talked about this in a couple of episodes ago, but I practice the Wim Hof breathing technique. So if you guys don't know what that is, definitely check that out. I'm not going to go into what it is in the whole technique, but basically I do the practice, and it goes for about 11 to 15 minutes roughly. And so when I go up onto the sand across the road at the beach there, I get my dogs into a down stay, and for that 11 to 15 minutes, they have to hold that stay. Now, Spades is next to me. I don't have to manage him. Nookie gets a little bit excited, especially on the beach. Things are happening. She wants to be moving. But that's all the reason why I get them to, you hold your down stay while I practice my technique, and I'm in the moment, I'm present. So, if you can get creative with your walks, if you can get creative with being around your dogs, teach them how to be calm. And it's very easy for my dogs to hold a down stay. Some other dogs may not be able to do it for that long, but just as at the level that I'm at with them, that's what I can be doing. So, but it's a good reminder that you need to be present with your dog. So after it, I'm feeling really relaxed, I feel whole, I feel a lot more energized. And then the walk continues. I practice a training session with the dogs, and we have a bit of fun. We come back home, and my walk isn't a chore. Actually, I enjoy walking, so that's a real good benefit. So keeping dogs in a routine reminds us to keep up with our own routine, especially now when we're a lot of people are out of work, or their work is different. They're working from home, so their routine's just shattered. But the dogs still need to keep up a routine. Daily walking between 45 to 60 minutes is recommended, and a couple of training sessions a day just to keep their mind active and engaging with your dog. So that come through play, that come through food training, however you like to do it. But doing that, well, most of you that are responsible are going to keep up with this routine, and that does remind us, what do dogs teach us? It teaches us to be in a routine. So, and I've had this realization a couple of years ago when I was thinking so much about fulfilling a dog. Like I was telling all my clients, you got to fulfill your dog's mind and body constantly, as much as you can, because that's what they're designed for. But also, it's just a good way for general fulfillment in life. And even though I was doing it for myself, doing my training, exercise, socializing with my friends, and just trying to keep a balance in all of my life, I became a lot more aware of it, specifically to continuously challenge myself and put myself in small amounts of stress, whether that's physical or mental, emotional and spiritual, depending on how deep you want to go with this. But you practice on all these different levels of yourself so you can develop. And so we do with our dogs, We'll talk about today's sessions. Is that I saw a client with her dog that was very reactive on the lead, has had a fight with she's like a little Staffy mix, and she had a fight with the Jack Russell that she lives with, and she opened up her stomach. It was a pretty intense fight. So obviously working on these behavioral issues, and they were doing everything. They were doing, somewhat training and exercise for the walks, but there wasn't dynamic enough. So we had to put this dog through a training program, and 3 sessions in, it's been about a month and a week or something. We walked the Esplanade in Cronulla. If you guys don't know what that is, it's a very busy part of Sydney where it's along the beach. It's a very beautiful walk, and there's lots of people and their dogs. And we walked past there, and there wasn't any reactivity. There was still a few things to be worked on, as you would expect in only 3 sessions, but massive improvement. So the point here is that we keep that dog's routine happening, but we keep it dynamic, and we keep trying to fulfill their needs as much as possible. We start to see some habit changes outside of the training. And, and if we can remind ourselves that our dogs need this work, we also need that work as well. So if we're not looking after ourselves, we're not any good to our dogs. So if your dogs are really important to you, look after number one. It's the same thing if you have a family, if you have people you rely on, whether it's at work or you're just in your social groups. You got to keep strong, because you don't know who you're inspiring, basically. You just keep it up, and this is a true time now to really see who are you under these sorts of pressures. No one expected this sort of craziness to happen. So this is a good way to have strong foundations in your dog training, in your own life, etc. Strong foundations, and you can build castles and be adaptive from that as well. Don't be too set in one way, because just like the dogs, if the dog only learns to walk one route the same day every day, you change that route up, the behavior starts to change because the dog's out of routine. So if you keep up a routine for our dogs, keep them up for yourself. And another thing I got up there on my list there is, dogs are optimistic. Usually, most dogs, they try to see the good in a situation. All right, there are dogs, as I said, that have issues, fear-related issues, anxieties. But we're talking about the everyday dog, they're just super happy, see the ball or to see some food or you coming home. They're optimists, and that rubs off onto us. It keeps us positive. And that's another thing that dogs have taught me, is that, watch how you behave, because things around you start to change as well. And another thing about being optimistic is that they're also opportunistic. They see opportunities and they go for them if they can, depending on how much drive and how much confidence they have in their life. The more they see something that they want to better their situation, they'll go for it. And something that can, especially for us well-mannered people in life, is that sometimes you're not as hard, as go-getting as you could be. And if you have a dog that's super drivey and you see them like they go, no, I want that thing, and they've got so much intensity and intention towards it, that does kind of rub off onto us, sorry. And so that's really important. Stay positive, because your dog's feeling positive as well. And it goes the other way. If you're feeling good, your dog starts to feel good, So some people, their dogs are like the savior to their life, their dog is at home. Like my grandmother, like, she's 94 and she's staying at home, and she's got Flora, her dog, and Flora is like everything to her and super happy about it. So of course we go and visit, and family, we keep her up, but Laura's with her 24/7, so that's really cool. And training goals for our dogs are like rituals, so further strengthens our own discipline for our own goals. Like if you have goals for your dogs, like for example, I just said that I can do, a 15-minute breathing exercise down in the beach there while I'm sitting down and my dogs are in a down state next to me. That may inspire to be like, holy crap, I want my dogs to be able to do a down state while dogs and people walk past us and they stay there. So you work your goals towards that. And it doesn't happen overnight, and it's not because I'm special and I'm a dog trainer so my dogs just do it. Like, you've got to put the hard work in. And it's the same thing with our own selves. If you're spending some time at home now, you've got some goals to smash at. I've got plenty of goals to do, and before I started smashing my goals out this week, of course I still had work and a lot of other things that have to be done, and being a father, etc. But cleaning up the study where I work at. So now it's fully productive, ready to go. I'm feeling in a clear state of mind. Clear your space around you, you clear your own mind. And so what I've learned from being with dogs is that I'm setting them up for success so they can achieve their goals in incremental steps, gradually moving closer and closer towards it, adding more stress or variables around it. But the point is that I'm constantly moving towards that, and I want to do that with my own goals as well. So being a good dog trainer can also become a good trainer for yourself, essentially. I think that's really a really cool topic to discuss even more about, and with yourself and with your family and with your own dog, like, suss that out, see where it's applicable to you. So dogs are our therapy. Dogs do really bring a lot of joy to our lives, and I'm trying to unpack a couple things of what dogs have taught me, and really unfortunate to see a client today. So she's got like a 7-month-old little pup, and she's also got a 9-year-old, larger dog. I'm not going to get too specific, doesn't matter anyway. He said, but none of them are going for a walk. They're separating the yard. One stays inside, one stays outside. They don't go for walks, and that just confuses me. Like, you got a dog and you don't think walking him every day is an essential thing. Okay, if you said 3 times a week, like you're trying to fit it in, I get it, but like no walks at all, and the dog's toileting in the house and have these issues and overreactive when the people come over, like, those are all symptoms to problems, So this is a time now that you're at home. If you, like in Sydney, we're still allowed to leave the house and go for a walk. Like, you're not going to come in contact with anyone if you're that taking that many precautions. That's fine, that's up to you. But you go for that walk and you get your dog out every day. Do some basic training exercises. Hit up my YouTube channel, Nooches Pooches, and you can just check out just a couple of things. Listen to the rest of these episodes and keep up to date with what you can do with your dog, because there's so many things, and the dog's sitting at home doing nothing. And we're going to start feeling it, that we're going to start staying at home. And if you don't have your own to-do list happening, and if you don't have some sort of goals and going, cool, I can read that book today and do that exercise and spend some time with my boy or watch that series, or I don't care what it is, but if it's something that's productive and if you actually want to do it, like, get it done. But make sure your dog training and your dog walking is on that list, and if you can't leave the house, full shutdown or whatever, then get creative with your training at home, or keep up with some sort of routine. Now, some dogs are pretty chill, you don't have to do that. But do it anyway, then why not? At least it gets you up off your ass and doing something as well. So I realize that a lot of people aren't really lazy. A lot of people just don't know what to do. So do the research, get out there and have fun with it. So hope you enjoyed today's episode. I'm going to keep it short and sweet. There's many other episodes that I want to release about what dogs have taught me. Really passionate about that. It's the whole reason why I got into dog training in the first place is, I'm passionate about training dogs. But I really dig what dogs can teach us. And if I can get people to acknowledge more of that from having a well-mannered dog that you can have more freedom with, it's limitless with so much lessons we can learn from a little pocket of nature that we let live in our house. It's awesome. So anyway, you guys all stay happy, healthy, and strong. I hope all is well on your end, and you and your families are, sticking together and staying healthy. So If you like what you hear, please like, rate, and share, subscribe, do what you've got to do on any platform that you're listening to us from. If you're watching us on Instagram or Facebook, YouTube, share the love and share this episode with a friend if you think that they'll enjoy it and benefit. But we're getting more downloads every single week. I keep telling you because I want to reinforce the fact that we really appreciate that, and that's why we keep doing it. So you guys stay happy, healthy, and strong once again. Be well, take care, and have a great day.